Hi, my name's Louise Clarke, and today I want to look at electronics. I feel a bit compelled to cover electronics, but I've been reluctant up to now because I wanted to sort of learn other things and other things to come to be, which they are. I'm not totally prepared for today, but I'm hoping that it will be sufficient because I've got lots that I need to be doing, because I don't feel we've got very long now. I mean, we're being silenced. If you have a look on my Facebook page, no one comments on nothing. It's like I'm invisible, I'm hidden. So all that fake news stuff that Google's funding, the Truth Ministry, even though like Soros is funding the Facebook element and it's not getting well, I've experienced it for a long while, so it's nothing new to me, but I think it's new to others. And what you'll see is, yes, you won't find my videos being shown or my whatever I do. So I'm trying to steer it all to my website, higherinsight.co.uk. I've got another one, higherinsight.webs.uk. No, .webs.com. Anyway, I think I need to do with electronics, and for me, I don't see it as just electronics, and it is like they sort of love to, the powers that be, love to sort of put everything in little boxes and separate boxes, and then we're all divided to rule, aren't we? So they've got sort of, what I'm seeing happening is they've got people that are targeted individuals that are under electronic harassment. And then you've got people who are from satanic backgrounds, satanic ritual abuse, and then they'll have demonic harassment. And then you have people that have come from mind control settings, MK Ultra or satanic family, cult, Masonic stuff. And then they'll have their understanding of the electronics, because in the programming of someone like government level trauma-based mind control programming, electric shocks are always used to seal in like the trauma. So then when you're not being reinforced to keep all the programming in place, then the shocks start coming out and your body jolts. I know mine's been jolting for years. So you've got energy, electricity of the body flying one way, then you've got electronics coming in from the other way. And well, really what I need to add into the equation is the demonics, because it's not just electronics. I mean, there is electronics, and then there's demonics, and then there's Masonics. Because it's like, if you have a look on my Instagram, I'll try and put the pictures up that I've got on the Instagram, because yes, when I get accessed and so forth, then they leave evidence, they leave little bruises on me, which I understand is to tell me to obey, which I'm not the best at doing, but I do my best to try and have a healthy body, and it's a balancing act really, to be honest. So if you look at those pictures, I'll show you that the ones, say from last year, were bruises, and they weren't done electronically. There was nothing electronic about it. They were bruises on my arms, and if you touched them, they were tender, just like bruises. So that was telling me that, yeah, someone had access to me during the night while I slept. So I'm not quite sure how yet, but that's how that happened. But then what happened in the last few months was I got a bruise on the side, which I put up and I'll show you, that it looked like a bruise, and because I'd always had bruises, it was like, okay, but usually they taser, I think a lot of the time is tasering. Sometimes they're fingerprints, sometimes they're like tasery sort of, and again that's electronics, you see, but only small taser marks. So I thought, oh, they've decided they're not going to taser my arm, they're going to taser my side today. So that's what I put the picture of. But then the last couple of times I had, yeah, the one on the side, and as I thought, it was a bruise. But then what happened was, the other day I made a video called Breaking No Speak Programming or something like that, and it's hardly watched. I mean, it probably is watched by lots of people, but it shows up as something like 60, 70 hits or something, which is crazy because it's like there's nowhere else on the net anyone talking about breaking no speak, and you'd think people would want to break it. So I assume there's something a little bit dodgy going on with them scores on the doors. But after I put that up, someone come and wrote a comment on there. I can't even remember what it was now. But then I got a message from them later. I responded and I got a message later, but it was like hidden, because the people who run my YouTube channel, and probably all YouTube channels, and I'm not quite sure who they are. I mean, they could be Tavistock, they could be just Google folks. I don't know who does it, but they sometimes miss so much with my comments. I don't really chat that much on YouTube because it's like I can't, they'll interfere all the time. So there was this message come back from the person, but it was put in the spams. So I looked at it and it connected to some guy who is doing interviewing, and they're saying, oh, I should go and talk to him, but I don't think that's going to happen somehow. But I listened to who he was interviewing, and it was this woman who, I will put their name up, I can't remember, it's Catherine something. Basically, she's a physicist from CERN, and they're electrocuting the hell out of her, and she don't know what's happening, or she's working it all out. And so they had her on the show interviewing her, and I can see what they're doing. They're getting people who you give credence to, because they've been doing the gang stalking and the targeting with electronics for years now, and people are sort of saying it's happening, and other people say, oh, shut up, you're silly. So they've gone and got like top bananas, in a sense, to say, well, would a physicist from CERN, from Cambridge University, I think she was, first degree, would she be talking rubbish? No, she wouldn't. And then what's happened is I've watched a couple of her videos since, and she has knowledge. So she has this machine that looks like a phone, and she holds it over her head, and it shows signals coming at her, although I don't know enough, because then it's like, well, are they signals coming in, or could there be signals coming out? But they're probably signals going in with her, because they want to make the point, and I think they want to have her apply her genius to understanding it, and to show, to validate them. And I mean, it sort of replicates on another woman, Lucy Barnard, who came to me a while back, and she's like got a first degree, and I think higher, from Cambridge University, to be a lawyer, barrister, and then they're sort of targeting her, and they'll give her like voices in the head and blah, blah, blah. And then it becomes, you see, it gets a bit similar to mind control. But you see, what happened is, because they've divided all these sections out, people are not really wanting to put them all together. So with this woman, and I said, oh, it could be, sounds, you know, I listened, and I said, it could be that you have been used in mind control. But she was like, no, she couldn't accept that. Where for me, it's like, no, I know the extent of mind control, and I know that we're being used, and we've sort of been programmed to bring in all this new epoch, I suppose we'll call it, and it's a big shift that they're going to sort of change the thinkings of the world on. So they're sort of bringing in, oh yes, there is DID, but it's not done in underground facilities, it's not done in satanic ritual abuse, it's just a little bit of trauma, and then somehow you end up with DID, which is bollocks, right? So what I'm saying is you've got the electronics happening for real, and then to deal with the electronics, yes, foil. I mean, I've learnt it all from the past when I dealt with the mother before, who was gang stalked, under a cult attack. They came from every angle, and at that point I wasn't yes, I suppose I was being forced to learn it. I think they wanted me to apply my brain, because even though I only get 60 hits on my videos, I do have a degree in psychology. I did work 20 years with crack cocaine users and specialised and rose to the top, and then they had to sort of squash me from a high place because I wasn't following the rules. I don't think I follow them too well now, but whatever. Anyway, so they sort of get people with, you know, who they've programmed. I mean, I don't sort of avoid admitting it. So to me, but you see, other people can't see it, but it becomes clearer when you understand how the whole thing's packaged. Then you know what you're looking for. So yeah, you're looking for bloodline. And someone asked the physicist, is she bloodline? And then she said, oh yes, but it's back in 1400, sorry. So it's like, oh, it's too far away. But no, they keep the bloodlines pure. They don't, and then people don't understand this. And I'm trying to deal with electronics, so I won't go down that road too much. So what I'm saying is, the electronics are done. She uses the machine. Yes, it shows that they're sending them. Foil helps because it stops a signal. There was a guy that wrote, I might copy and paste the comment onto this video, because there was a guy that wrote to me right when I made a video on how to deal with gang stalking, and he wrote and explained how you need to have the walls solid lead and la la la, and I just thought, and it was a spam, they put it as a spam. But to be honest, I didn't know enough to know, is he right, is he wrong, you know, so I left it there. But I do know that there was a man that did some sort of dodgy deal or something, and he had to go in hiding, and he built a house with lead walls, and he still hides. So it does work to stop signals, but I mean, we can't all go around building lead. I'm lucky that I've got a room to live in, do you know what I mean? Alone at lead, I think I'll put some lead walls up. So some of it is a little bit impractical. And then what one learns is, I see it as, well, they were bruising me and tasering me, but to be honest, I've made quite a lot of effort and a lot of progress in making myself unable to be accessed so easily. And what therefore could be is I get electronically burnt now, because I found out the bruise really was a burn. Because what I was going to say is, when I got that message the day before Christmas Eve, I got the message saying, you know, look, there's this woman, talk to this guy. When I got that message, when I woke up in the morning, Christmas Eve, I had a big burn on my mouth, and I'd watched the video about her being burnt, and so it was like, is that to show me, you know, you can burn me too? I really don't know, because they like playing them sort of mind games. Because meanwhile, anyway, I'd made my video of breaking no speak, which, you know, is actually useful, because you've got a lot of these people that are MCs or MK Ultra programmed, and they're coming on and they're talking about their programming. They don't know their programming, most of them. They haven't really deprogrammed. They've sort of worked out that they're mind controlled, and then they sort of might have glimpses of their programming, and then they're talking about it, which doesn't help anyone. It just puts out there a load of twaddle that entertains the public. Meanwhile, they're taking your rights away. As I say, George Soros has funded Facebook to have a fake button and to put the things like mine down the news. I mean, well, fake news, but mine's not fake, but not a lot of it fake. So it put what they want down the news feed and hide it. And then you've got the Ministry of Truth come in, and well, when Trump comes in, I think things are going to change a little bit drastically, so I better make my things now. So the electronic, I mean, I know that we used to go to the beach, and it was really windy there, and somehow that stopped the pain of the mother who was being attacked with it. But when I said this to the doctor, the physicist, she said, no, because the wind wouldn't make any difference. The waves just light direct, and that's it. So I thought about it since I said that, because it was like, well, I know there was a base there, Shoeburyness. It's near Southend, east coast of like London, really. All the Londoners go there. So, but the base isn't, as I understand, very big there. But anyway, what I did think was, maybe there's no, like, the transmit. I don't know the names of technology, that's why I've not really tackled electronics. But them poles that stand there and they're meant to give you the signal of the phone, well, there isn't any at the seaside. So maybe that's why seaside can be quite useful, because there's no towers. So again, it's like, yeah, that well, if you go to like forests, hills, somewhere where there's no towers, mountains, I ain't got many, I ain't got any in England, but so yes, so electronics, yeah, if you could stop it. The thing is, as I always say, they're only going to do what works. So if you, and I did say to the doctor, you know, get on with your life. And she says, oh, how can you? And I understand that, and you know, they really stress you out. But the bottom line is, that's what you need to do, because you won't get on with your life how you want to get on with your life, because like me, I'd rather be working, counselling, you know, I'm pretty good at my job, but I can't do it because I'm blacklisted. So no, I can't get on with the life that I would have chosen to live because I don't have power over them. But I can still get on with, like, you know, cooking my dinner, doing my exercise, doing things, because really you sort of have to counteract all this, because it's like, no, I can't stop. If they want to burn my face, I mean, when I did wake up with my mouth burnt, I didn't even know it was burnt. And this is my point as well, is discernment. You've got to discern. So if you get a mark, is it a bruise? Is it electronic? Is it taser? And what I did know was, if it was a bruise, you can feel it. When they burnt my mouth the other day, I couldn't feel it. I didn't know it was there. It was only when I went to make a video the next morning, and then I put me up on I don't normally do it. And I put me up and I looked, and it was like, what's that dirty mark on my mouth? So then I looked in the mirror and it was like, no, but I couldn't feel anything. So that tells me that when it's electronically done, you can't necessarily feel it. But you see, it's all different, because like they're hurting her, giving her headaches, and there's people that feel headaches. But you see, then that crosses into mind control yet again. And I'm not saying that the doctor is not experiencing electronic, because I think she probably is, so that she can talk about it and study it from a physicist's point of view. I wasn't allowed to learn physics at school, or chemistry, only biology and that science bit, and not plants. So when she's dealing with it, it probably is always electronic, but it doesn't mean she wasn't programmed to become who she was to become. And so yes, the electronics, that's the best I can sort of say. If it doesn't hurt, it can't feel like a bruise, probably electronic. If you can feel it, so it's about feeling it. When they're sort of tasery ones, I don't know, they come up like longer, like marks. So I suppose the taser ones that I assumed were taser may have been electronically done, but I think they're taser, because like once I went out of area, you've got to stay in your box, haven't you? You've got to stay in your house, so they like it. And I went out of the area looking for somewhere else to live, because I don't want to live in the box no more. And then when I was driving on the motorway, my eyesight went a bit funny, so I thought I'd better pull over and rest. And so I asked in the garage, could I rest here please? And they said yes. And then when I rested, and I sort of went into a semi-sleep, and then when I woke up, there was a man in the car next to me, and I was like in the car park, and he sort of got in his car and then he went to drive away. And I sort of noted it but didn't think much of it. And it was a hot day, and I did have the window a little bit ajar, and they were electronic windows, and always the bruises were always on this side, on my left side. But when I got home, I saw there was a bruise on the right side. And I thought, oh, did he taser me through the window or something? Because when I left the petrol station, I looked at the guy who was serving, who I'd asked could I stay there, and he looked at me, and then he looked all sort of dodgily away, as if like he was guilty of something. So I don't know what happened, but I got marked there. So that wouldn't have been done on a beam through my car and that. And that was tasering. So it's hard to discern. So I like to sort of look to the Bible for guidance, because it's like, where else am I to look for guidance? You know, I've been fed a load of twaddle, so I look for it. And it says, I've got some bits, in Hosea 14:9, it says, whoever is wise, let him understand these things. Whoever is discerning, let him know them, for the ways of the Lord are right, and the righteous will walk in them, but transgressors will stumble in them. So yes, another one I've got, Leviticus 10:10. It says, so as to make a distinction between the holy and the profane, and between the unclean and the clean. Don't know why I put that bit there, but I did. Proverbs 28:11. The rich man is wise in his own eyes, but the poor who has understanding sees through him. I like it. I like that one. And there's one under 1 Samuel 16:7 says, but the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or at the height of his status, because I have rejected him. For God sees not as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So I like that, because it's sort of reassuring. It's like there wasn't anything in there I could find on electronic harassment, but it is about discernment, because you know it's about playing a mind game with you that you don't know what's real, what's Memorex. You don't know, is it electronic, is it? And this is why I say get on with your life, because whether it's electronic, whether it's bruising, you've still got to get on. And yes, you've got to face the truth. So if you're under mind control, you're going to be accessed. If you don't undo that, if you don't become aware of your accessing, then you'll continue to be used for their agenda, which yes leads on to the demonic side, because then the demonics, yes, they use demonics and they separate that out in mind control as if like, oh no, they're just using these electric shocks on you and la la la. But they don't. They use demonics. They attach demonics to the altars that they create under mind control to make them more controllable, I suppose. And then you see, because when it comes to mind control, it's not a new thing. Okay, it was sort of, you know, started, I suppose, scientifically at the Tavistock in about 1912. And then, yeah, they created a couple of wars to study the effect on masses. And then the Nazis, after the war, studying millions of people, torturing them for free guinea pigs to study mind control. Then after that they went to all over the place, didn't they? America, here, la la la. So they carried on their research, so we're just their guinea pigs. And yes, I will add, while I remember, because I haven't really got, as I say, this planned too well, is when I went to the seaside to see if I wanted to live somewhere, when I looked, I think it's this side, yes, when I looked, I came back, there's a chip in my eyelid. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try and get close, and it says, it's hard to see, but they put a chip in. You can't get it out. People, oh, get it taken out. By whom? And it's like, you'd have to pull the lid. It's like, I don't want to go through all that. And then they're only going to go and put it back in again till I work out how they get near me without my consent. So, yeah, I do fiddle with it. And I did have one before and I think I broke it. So I think they replaced it. So there's no point in really breaking it, because you're just going to end up with more pain where they give you another one. So I think that's I don't know why they stuck it there, maybe because they don't know where I'm going half the time, because I don't use phones. Because yes, with the electronics, they'll use your phone, your modem, anything electronic, your smart meter, which can't really do much about it, but you can reduce it. So they'll use these things to even to use your batteries to send you the pain, to send you the headaches through. So if it's done electronically, then I suggest switch off all those devices and disconnect from the electronics. As I say, demons, they work on electronics. So, you know, often when I make my videos, there'll be alarms go off, and often I come in, light bulbs pop, and I can go in and blow people's electrics in shops and so forth if I'm spinning too much. Yes, it's about, you know, reduce it. Don't have cell phones with you. Don't have the computer on all the time. Don't have these things on while you sleep. So when it comes to demonics, I'm not the expert, but my friend is. So my friend's just written a book, funny enough, a few days ago, and I did put it on my website, and today I've been trying to build a page for it, and they keep hiding it and doing all sorts. They don't like it. When you search it on the internet, it's very hard to find. I could find it in China the other day. I'm in England. Then today I could find it in America, but then they said, oh, it's print on demand, but there's no copies available at the moment. But I will put the links below because it's everywhere. She's in Africa, she's African, but this is the book. And so, if you want to understand the demonics, it's brilliant, the book. I mean, it's not just she's my friend, but I call her Brains, because that's what she is, Brains. She knows physics, but she also understands demonics because she was raised in a Satanic family, Satanic ritual abuse in Africa, and was used in many rituals as a portal for demons to come through. They use children for this. And so the book, she talks about all that aspect of it. Plus she talks about mind control. Plus she talks about the workings of the brain and how to get out of mind control. And she talks about the children that are in the cages, like down the mine shafts out there. And it's not just there, it's all over the world, but the children are stored in cages in the mine shafts. So I'll see if I can, because she's put pictures in here, I'll try and put them on a video. So that's looking at it from a demonic. So to look at demonics, you have to sort of understand it. I've covered it a few times in videos, other occult videos, and yes, when you're looking at my occult videos where I'm saying how to deal with the occult, whenever I'm sort of going to that to getting the information from, because yeah, she knows her stuff. So she just published a book, but as I say, it's a bit hidden, so I'll try and make it visible because she explains it so well. It's also on ebook. She's made it on ebook a couple of days ago, or maybe a week ago, and then I was like, no, I want it in paperback, because I like to write all over pages and put my notes on, and when I'm ready I'll make a video of all the notes that I've made from it. But yes, that's the demonic side. Now also, obviously I've got notes, but there's like, it's absolute scribble, but time isn't on my side. Yeah, there was another woman I saw today, Seven, she runs by, and she's a Londoner, and she's very creative, because they'll go for the creative, and she created loads of TV ideas, and they just stole a lot, and for years she's been like, oh yes, she's under harassment, and electronic, I think, and gang stalking, but she doesn't realise that she's very likely mind controlled too, because they keep all those people separate, and me they keep well out of the equation. No one, no, you know, it's like, no, I'll have to make my own videos if I want to be heard. So we've got that. We've got as I say, when you're programmed, then as I say, they use they electrocute you. I'll put pictures up I've drawn of it, because you ain't going to get pictures of it, but I drew it once of what I remembered. And they'll electric shock you to seal in the trauma, and they're not talking about little dibs, do you know what I mean? We're talking about, no, and it's from baby. And so when you deprogram and start to deal with the, like, facing it, stop denying, you know, keep the denial, stop the denial working, then the feelings come through, so the body shakes everywhere and I jolt everywhere. And yes, you see, on Hillary Clinton, just before the election, she'll go like that, and everyone, ha ha ha, but it's like, it's probably where she's been programmed, because she's programmed, my money's on it, it's got to be, and then, yeah, because my body will maybe not shock sometimes it shocks lots, but sometimes it would just shock, or if someone says something loud, or says something and inside me knows different, or something, sometimes it will react. So I think, you know, like you see in that video of Hillary, and there's like reporters all bombarding her, and the shocks are coming out, and so that's that's the sort of thing that can happen, and then people look at you like, what's going on, you're a bit weird, and it's like, yes, it's called shocks coming out, but no one's admitting them. It's like, you know, I talk about all these sort of health issues I have on my, you know, blog on cerebral palsy, which I haven't got. I don't know what I got. No one wants to diagnose it. They just want to keep monitoring it. And meanwhile I collapse and all this, when I'm not doing as I'm meant to. So, yes. What shall we say? Well, never carried it. yeah, I did get a jab once, so I'll get the picture for that. They stuck it in my arm, here, at the elbow, and, well, it's still, the mark's still there. They must have jabbed me so hard or something. So I don't know, that was about a year or, well, I think it was around about Halloween, no, well, last year, I think it was last year. It'll say on the photo. So, so yeah, we can have chips, but it's like you can't get them out. But you've just got to get on with living your life. Because what else, you know, once you accept, okay, so they're doing it. Now what? And if you, it's like, I see it as if that doctor didn't make any more videos, they probably would stop doing it. I'm not saying they would do it straight away because they'd be angry. But as well, what the man said with the room, with his lead room at the end of it, is he's saying, well, if you did block them out, then they'd just get you in the street, which is true. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can't really, and this is what they want me to convey, is you can't really escape them. You can't really escape, and you can't, because you can go to the beach, say, and say that worked, or you went to the mountain, but you can't stay there all day if you don't have money to go and live in the mountains. You know what I mean? It's like, it's impossible. And you see, it's all electronic. It's like, there's some, I don't know where, but somewhere in the world they've got the means that these, I don't know the names of the poles, but them poles that stick up and they can transmit the like phone signals and all that, they can also like send a signal that can lock all cars that, well, you could be driving and they just stop working, they mess with the electronics. And that would be, and the demonics can do that too, because I've had that where my cars, where I've been so raw that it's like the energy coming through me and the car's revving while I'm at the traffic lights and I'm like just trying to stay calm and the car's revving and everyone's looking at me like I'm Boy Racer, and I'm not. And then I took the car then to the seaside, you see, and then it stopped and it was all right. That weren't done electronically, but they could stop the car electronically. But yes, it's about, yeah, learning to be calm, learning to counteract the damage they've done. It's like, you know, in the last few days my body's shook, and well, then I know, right, take tonics, take vitamin B, eat good food, wrap myself up in bed, I have a hot water bottle, make myself cozy, protect, look after oneself. That's why it is, it's back to look after yourself, look after yourself, look after yourself. The more they attack you, you can't stop that. All you can do is reduce the damage that they're doing to you. And I mean, at the moment it looks like, oh, they're testing and show, well, that was before, as if they were testing to see how people respond, and they've learned all that now and they're ready, and I think trouble's coming quite soon, and they just want now the brainy bananas, top bananas, to say, yes, this is happening, it's validated, there's nothing you can do about it. They don't even know who to blame, you know. It's like, because people don't realise how the structures run. And that's another video, the Matrix, isn't it? Which I'm sort of trying to do. I mean, my website, I've been working a lot on my website, higherinsight.co.uk, if you want to visit there, because I've been trying to deal with everything, because it's as if, like, let's hurry up before the time runs out. Did I say the name? I didn't say the name of the book. It's called Tock, an Awareness of Satanic Ritual Abuse, and it's by Casey Winterburn. So, but I'll put the link to it underneath the video. And what else have we got? I might have covered it. Oh, it's not much. It's like, it's hard to say, because I'm not into I don't understand electrics. I do a little bit, but yeah, so triggers can make the body jolt and all that, but it wouldn't be done electronic, and it's hard to, yes, you know when it's coming. I mean, so in the past I'd think, like, because my body can shake, like vibrate, And it's like, is that internally or externally? And then I saw that doctor saying, you know, they're making, and she had a different term for it, but I knew what she was referring to, and she was saying how her body vibrates inside and they can make it one side and then the next side. And I sort of can have that. But then I sort of see it as it could be the brain releasing. You're never 100% sure unless I have all her little gadgets. But then you see you can get the gadgets and then the gadgets don't work properly because then they can mess with the gadgets. Or demonics can. And they work hand in hand. I mean, sometimes I make these videos and then it don't work. The battery gets wiped out, you know. And then there's another woman on the internet, and I'm rubbish with names, they go for my head. I think she's something fairy or something. I'll try and find her and put the name on the video. But she was saying about, yeah, you got to optimise your health, and I thought, yeah, it's very true. She's aware too. And disconnect from the matrix, which I've said, as much as you can, because I can go, oh, disconnect from the matrix. But everyone's so addicted to using phones and computers and technology, and therefore if they were to go without, which they might do soon, because if there's any trouble they may close it down or they may hit it, and it's be good to, people need to try and live without, you know, having it 24/7. Yeah, so maybe, you know, only have half a day and try not having your phone, or because if it goes, you won't know. I mean, they've got everyone friends with people in Timbuktu, no one knows their neighbour, and then if all the electric goes and there's power cuts, then they won't, what they're going to do? The shops won't be open because they won't be able to use the machines, you see. So you need to think of these things, prepare for if there was no electric, there was no matrix, but also try your best to disconnect from it. And if you're wanting to see the effects, you know, you can watch what happens if you are connected and what happens if you're not connected, and then you can start learning, in a sense. What's this say? Man said, I've done that, the lead room. Right, so, yes, so we've got, I hope I did it clear, I don't think I did. So we did electrics, we did demonics, we did mind control. But, as I say, demonics can imitate electronics, but they don't burn your mouth. I suppose they could if they wanted to, can do anything, with a little bit of help. And then, but you see, this is the thing, this is why I wasn't touching it, because I know the powers that be don't want you to think about demonics. No, it's all electronic, it's all you're helpless. But you see, if it's demonic, then you can call on Jesus Christ and they have to flee. So yes, if you're being attacked and you're not sure, then call on Jesus and ask for it to be dealt with, and if it continues, then it's not demonic. So there's ways to eliminate, but yeah, they want people not, I mean, this video probably won't get really any hits because they want people to talk about you know, they're being electronically harassed, because they want everyone to be groomed to be prepared for it and then interpret any attack as electronic. But I don't think that it is how they're portraying. I think, yes, they are targeting individuals, but that takes manpower to sit there and attack someone. Okay, you might be able to set it up as a program or something, but to find the person, to pin, to zoom in, because like when you're under that sort of electronic attack, say where they're going at your head, and it could be like you get headaches, but it could be, as I say, a mind control memory of being beaten and your head hurt then, and then if you aren't aware that you were beaten and your head hurt then you're thinking it's happening now. So this is why I will need to put that into the equation. But if I've lost my point. If you I've lost my point. Let me read another little scripture, because I've got to go through these because I've read them. So we've said, so is Ecclesiastes, you can see I was really raised in no church. Ecclesiastes 5:8. Anyway, If thou seest the oppression of the poor, and violent perverting of judgment and justice in the province, marvel not at the matter, for he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. And it is, and I've had that, I remember I had that years ago, even though it was like I just used to open the Bible, and apparently that's wrong. But I used to open it up, and it always used to show that page, but I was always dealing with oppression. So, and yes, I'm all right. I come through, so I think the Lord does look after me well. I might find my place on here, but yes, it's game. It's game to get everyone into a learned helplessness. And whether you're like been under mind control, MK Ultra, or just basic general mind control of the masses, they've got everyone, you know, they want them to be like feeling helpless. They can't help themselves. And yes, when it kicks off, then people will feel like helpless. But it's about, no, there is things you can do, like turn off the electronics, like call on Jesus. Water sometimes helps. If it's a cult, if someone's attacking you and sending demons, you see, because people's weird, they think, oh, the Masons are just looking at them, you know, patterns and that. They're into demonics, and, you know, they're calling their demons, and then they'll send them out to attack you, and then you might get headaches. But again, praying would reduce it and remove it. So it's massive, isn't it, the electronics? I mean, I can go all over the shop I'm seeing, do you know what I mean? Because even if you're going in the dreams, but I think that's more astral done, to be honest. But they've probably got electronic means. But I see it as, yes, to target one person, they've got to really focus on that one person. And you see, then if they don't have people who are acknowledging that demonics exist, then when they do it, like when it all goes nasty, then it will be a lot of the time electronics. That's my point, is they couldn't pinpoint you. They wouldn't know where you are unless they had a person following you where you are. And unless you got a chip. You see, if you've got a chip like me in your eye, is it that eye? I was showing you that eye, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, if you've got the chip, then they know where you are, because they can track you. But if you haven't, then they can't. But your phone can track you, your car can track you. So people are quite easy to track. But to pinpoint, like to burn my mouth, then that's deliberately pinpointing that. And they've got devices that can see through walls and da-da-da. Yeah, the thicker the walls are better, and probably if they're lead, they probably can't see through. But you know, we've got to have daylight, haven't we? We've got to live. So I don't have 100% solutions other than get on with life, pray, foil, but in the sea, or out of where the electronic things are. Right. Any more? Right. Last one. Philippians 1:9-10. And this I pray, that your love may abound still more and more in real knowledge and all discernment, so that you may approve of the things that are excellent, in order to be sincere and blameless until the day of Christ. And yes, it is. It's about having the real knowledge. So hopefully I've added to the equation. So I'm sure there's lots of knowledge out there on the electronic side of harassment, but there probably ain't that much on the demonic, and there ain't that much on the mind control or Masonic, because the Masons are behind the mind control, because it's the Illuminati, and they're also behind the demonics, and they're also behind the electronics. So yeah, you could complain to your government, but the governments are really under the Masonic ruling too, which goes all the way up to the Knights Malta, and then above that is the Jesuits, and then Pope, and then they're answerable to Lucifer. He's lovely. So I hope I've made it all clear and ain't rambled too much, and I hope to make a new video soon. So for now, thanks for listening, and bye bye.